Okay, welcome to another edition of Inside the Challenge. I have with me today Andrea Kordos of blackLAB Architects here in Toronto, Canada. Andrea and us have partnered on a whole bunch of projects, and so I asked her to speak about a challenge that she's experienced on site. So with that said, Andrea, please take it away.
Thanks, John. Yeah, so we're working on a home right on the Scarborough Bluffs. It's such an amazing site. You can see for miles. There's lots of wildlife on the site. But there was also an existing house on the site, but it was built more like a cottage than a house. It was not properly insulated. And like a lot of the houses on the bluffs, it just is starting to fall apart. So the idea was to rebuild the house, but building on the Scarborough Bluffs presents a special kind of challenge. The conservation authority for this area is the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority, and they have developed guidelines to and regulations to build, or if and how to build on the bluffs.
Right.
And the there's a few parameters that we have to meet. The house, the replacement dwelling can't be, any larger, it can't be any taller than the existing. It can't be any closer to the bluff's edge than the existing. And the tricky part is that it also has to be built in a way that it can resist erosion for 100 years. Um, so yeah, I
Complexity.
mean, it sounds crazy, doesn't it? But there are actually, the bluffs, as you know, have been eroding slowly over time, and it's just the type of soil that it is. It's very sandy there, and if you actually look at historical aerial photographs through, through the past, there'll be houses that will be right close to the edge, and you'll look at one series of aerial photographs, they'll be there, and the next series they won't be, so they're lost to the erosion.
Okay.
Um, so to combat this, actually, the Conservation Authority have erected structures at the toe of the slope to prevent the wave action from eating away, and that's helped a lot. Um, but yeah, the challenge that we ran into on this project was to figure out how to build this house to resist this erosion for 100 years. So we had to hire a small team of specialists.
Got it. So I'm going to say this, as Andrea's
Yeah.
about to share her screen, she has some technical difficulties with the internet right now. So we're going to attempt to share screen, and in doing so, she's going to turn off her camera to share the screen to avoid a lag in the image of her. And then once the screen's shared and we count about 10, 20 seconds, she'll reappear instead of the logo of the practice.
Oh, that worked.
Oh,
Okay, there we go.
perfect. Welcome back.
Um, yeah, that was quick. So here's actually a picture of the protective structures at the toe of the slope.
Yep.
So we hired a coastal engineer and a geotechnical engineer. The coastal engineer analyzed these structures to see what the remaining lifespan of these structures are. The geotechnical engineer drilled some boreholes through the bluffs and tried to understand all of the layers of the soil, where the groundwater is, what the strength of the soil is, and we compiled all this data and basically drew a line through the slope. Here's a picture of the bluffs. We drew a line through the slope and to figure out where that what the slope will look like in 100 years from now. And a worst case scenario with with safety factors upon safety factors. So if we want to build this replacement dwelling, so here it is. Imagine this is the replacement dwelling on the edge of the bluff there.
Mhm.
Present day section through the bluff. Um, if you draw that 100-year erosion line through the site, the you can see
Bye-bye.
how you can see how the the replacement dwelling is kind of teetering on the edge there.
Yeah.
So the idea is to build the foundations in a way that it can reach down to this 100-year erosion line and stay stable on the slope as the bluffs get eaten away. I mean, of course, this is all theoretical, and um, there's so many safety factors that go into the calculation. This is these would be the micropiles that we would actually install to hit that 100-year erosion line and make the building and the slope more stable. So this is the kind of things that we're dealing with this project, and we're getting close to the end of all of the approvals. We're probably going to be submitting for building permit in the not too distant future.
Yeah, for those of you that are unaware, the bluffs are a section of shoreline in and around the Toronto area that that are high above Lake Ontario. And so it's a beautiful area. Absolutely beautiful. There are a lot of people that seek out to own homes in this area. If they're lucky enough to be able to find one on the south side of streets where you have a view out over the lake, it does not feel like you're living in the city. But the obviously it poses its own set of technical challenges.
Yeah, and this kind of build is going to be quite a bit more expensive than the typical, but it's yeah, like you said, it's such a beautiful site. It's hopefully well worth it.
Yeah. Thanks, Andrea. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.